Good morning, Year 1. Today in Maths, we are continuing our work on place value. First of all, we've had a little look at how we can use our knowledge of place value to help us count money. And we learnt about skip counting by tens if we have 10-cent coins to count money, skip counting by 5 if we see 5-cent coins when we're counting money, and joining all of those skills together. Today we are looking at place value with our MAB blocks. Now, you know that in our classroom we have these blocks that we can play with and build numbers. Because we're not in our classroom today and we can't do our maths with our hands as we love doing, I have found a resource online that we can use to do it digitally. That means to do it on the computer or the iPad. So here I have some different types of MAB blocks. I wonder, can you tell me what does this little block represent? If you're at school, you can call it out. If you're at home, call it out. This is one unit block, or we can call him the ones column. What does this represent? Here we have one tens block because there's 10 of these little ones blocks glued together to make one group of 10. And 10 is a very important number in maths. We can count by 10 and use a lot of maths revolving around the number 10. All right, then I wonder if you know what this block represents. Here's our hundreds block. You're right, because if I know that one of these is 10, and you can see him over here, they've got and glued lots of these tens blocks together. So I can skip count by 10 because I know there's 10 in each row. Let's skip count together. Say it out loud. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. If I was going to go the really, really slow way, I could count each of these little blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I would also get to the total amount of 100. There are 100 blocks here. All right, super challenge. If I tell you that this cube, a cube is a 3D square, has 10 of these put in it, I wonder if you can skip count by 100 to work out how many little ones blocks are in the cube. Let's skip count together. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and what comes next? 1,000. There are 1,000 little cubes in this block, so we call him a thousands block. I can use different amounts of blocks to create every different number, and that's why our MAB materials are so awesome. Down here, I've got what we call arrow cards, and you're going to be having a play with arrow cards to create different numbers today. You'll see it's color-coded, so the red is the same as the red 1. The yellow is the same as the yellow 10. The green is the same as the green 100 block, and the blue is the same as the blue 1,000 block. So they're matching. This is talking about this number over here. This is talking about this number here. This is talking about this number, and this is talking about this number. I'm going to add some blocks. How many ones blocks do I have now? 5. And that's why I've written a 5 in the ones column. I'm going to add some tens. How many tens blocks do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's why it says 8 in the tens column. Let's add some hundreds. How many hundreds blocks do I have? Just 2. How many thousands blocks do I have? 9. Now, once I clock over onto the 10, the numbers change and it's a bit trickier. We have to do something we call trading. and it affects the next column over. But if I stay with the numbers between 1 and 9, this is pretty simple to do. I have just built the number 9,285. I can pull this number apart by clicking this tile here. And this shows me what each of those numbers is actually worth in place value. So when you see this 5, yeah, he's just talking about 5 single little blocks. But when you see this 8, it's not really an 8. It's like an 8 in disguise. It's actually a T. The 0 has just been hidden up by the ones column. When I see this 2, it's not really representing the number 2. If I was looking at this number, what's he representing? 200. And I can see that by pulling my number apart. The other zeros to make up 100 were just being covered by the tens column and the ones column. Or we can also call this the units column. And lastly, if I ask you the question, I wonder if you can be really clever and call it out wherever you are. What does the 9 represent? In the number 9,285, what does the 9 represent? Is he just 9? He's 9,000. The zeros were just being covered up by the other parts of the number. But if it's sitting over here in the thousands column, you can picture there's actually a 0 in each of these spots. And you can see that because when we build this number, we've got 9,000 blocks. I'm going to link this resource for you below in the sector notes, and I'd love for you to come on and have a play, make lots of different numbers with your arrow cards, have a go at pulling the number apart and seeing what each digit actually represents and what it looks like when we model it with our MAB blocks. You can take some screenshots of that if you would like, optional, and post to Seesaw so I can see that you have been having fun with your maths today. I want to show you, though, how to write a place value number in a number sentence. And if you're really clever, when you take your photo for Seesaw, instead of just screenshotting this and uploading this, maybe use the pen and try to write the number sentence on like I'm about to do, and then I'll know that you're extra clever with your maths, because this is a little bit tricky, but I think some of you can do it. When I see this number, to write it in expanded form, what does it mean to expand something? If I expand this book, I'm pulling it apart. If I expand bubblegum, I'm stretching it apart. To expand is to pull something apart so you can see all its parts really clearly and stretched out. If I were to expand this number into what we call expanded form and write it as a number sentence, I have 9,000. 1,000 numbers have 3 zeros. Plus, because remember, I'm adding all of these things together to create this number, 200 plus a T. So remember, tens numbers, we don't say 810, 9,200, 810, 5. We say a T, and we add TY on the end of our tens numbers. A T5 plus 5 equals, because my number sentences always need my equal sign to show what the answer is, and the answer will just be this number here blended all together. 9,285. I have just written this number in expanded form. I've pulled apart the different parts and written a number sentence. All right, I would like you now to go and have a go at screenshotting and pulling apart numbers just like that and writing the expanded form number sentence before you take a screenshot for Seesaw. I will link this resource below.